if you need me, I'm here. But
Okay.
I know we don't have names on the DNA yet. But who's back there?
Can
Is Kelly?
someone try and confirm here an 8:49 tip on?
That's what they announced out in the.
What they did?
Yeah, they announced it out in the arena.
Okay.
I think it was 8:40 something. I forget exactly what time.
Okay.
Do you want me to get that and text you?
Yeah, just confirm it. And just text it, so I'll announce it. Doing great. How about you? Yeah? Huh?
Okay, I think we have the Indiana players going to be up here in just a second. Yeah, we'll start with them. Coach will be here just a few seconds behind them while they're coming in. UNC locker room is also open at this time. They will close about 1:05. We will be bringing Bryce Johnson and Marcus Page for them. Players, come on up. If you didn't hear the announcement, start time for Sunday's game will be 8:49 p.m. So we'll start with, while we wait for Coach, we'll start with questions for the players. So once again, just raise your hand. We have 2 microphone holders. Just give your name and your outlet before you ask your question. So we'll start in the back with Michael, standing in the aisle.
Just tell Michael along the AP broadcast. Just how tough was it to have them get out to the lead and just try to play catch up the rest of the night? Just how much harder was it in terms of trying to get back in the game and getting yourselves out of what you normally do?
Let's start with Troy.
The way we started off, just it wasn't us. We had another slow start. This whole tournament, we've been starting off slow, and I mean, it came back to hurt us. I mean, we had games throughout the season where we would start off slow, but we'll find a way to get back. But I mean, they're a great team. They just kept the lead, and they sustained the lead, and they also pushed the lead even more.
Yogi?
Yeah, well, they were consistently making shots, inside, outside to start the game, and our shots weren't falling. So going up against such a great team as North Carolina, you can't come out to a slow start. Got to be clicking on all cylinders, and we just couldn't stop them to start the game.
We'll take next question at this time. Let's stay in the aisle. Yep, behind the microphone holder. Sorry. Go ahead.
All week we've heard that North Carolina doesn't shoot the three. They don't make a lot of threes, and then they come out and they hit all those shots. How surprising was that for you guys, and how did that take you off your game, so to speak?
We'll start with Max this time.
Yeah, they're not traditionally known for, knocking down all those shots, but today they did, and sometimes you're gonna get games like that, and you just got to be able to adjust. And we tried to do some things adjusting wise, but one guy stopped knocking them down, Page started, and another guy would knock them down after that. So it was as far as the scouting report, a lot of the guys who are numbers wise decent shooters had a lot of great days, and when you got guys like that with a team like North Carolina, it's a tough train to stop.
We'll take a question we have here in fifth row, right here at the end of the aisle.
Yeah, Bob Kravitz from WTHR in Indianapolis for Max and Yogi. When you came off the court with, I think, 23 seconds left, Coach Crean stopped you, both of you, and I think Troy as well, and spoke with you. Could you share a little bit of what he said to you when you're walking off the floor?
Start with Max.
Coach Crean, he's a coach that loves his players, and coaches like it too. And a moment like that, he's especially Yogi, who's been here for 4 years and gone through thick and thin with him. He's just saying thanks for everything. And I've only been here a year, but this has been an incredible year for me. I'm grateful for the opportunity Coach gave me, and just to be able to play with these guys. And it was just a lot of love, a lot of thanks, and just kind of wrapping it up.
And Yogi.
Basically what Max said.
Okay, any more questions for the players? Yep. Over here at the end in row 4. Yeah, while he walks over, let's get Shannon here in the second row.
Yogi, if you could just elaborate or describe your feelings when you checked out and the fans are chanting your name, just your emotions at that time.
Emotions all high. To lose the game in the Sweet 16, didn't get to where we wanted to get. But, just reflecting back on all the 4 years I've had at IU, I've had a lot of accomplishments, and I feel like I gave my all to IU. So, at the end of the day, I'm glad that Coach Crean took me to come to this university. I met a lot of people, learned a lot of great things, and it's just something I'm going to remember.
All right, and in the fourth row at the end, yep, go ahead.
Anthony Sula-Heffinger, Yahoo Sports. For Max and Troy, what has Yogi meant for you guys just going throughout this season? And, I know you guys probably didn't want to see him go out the way you guys did, but the performance he had and the leadership he showed on the court today and throughout the whole season and the tournament.
Let's start with Troy.
I mean, Yogi's just a great guy in general, on the court and off the court. Since I first got here, I seen the hard work he put into this program. I seen how much it meant to him. Throughout these years I've been here with him, everything I did is for the programs, for our seniors, and it's always been for Yogi as well. Just seeing what he does, and he's just an inspiration to all of us, even to the coaches as well. And it's more than just a friendship. It's like a family. The whole team is, but Yogi's even his family that took me in, and he's just a great guy, and so is his family.
And Max?
Yeah, Yogi's he's so invested in the team. He's a heck of a teammate. Just on the court, obviously, just the things you guys can see, but then off the court, him being a senior this year and it being basically his team, just with him being here the longest and just doing everything he can. He's just done a tremendous job of kind of being the motor for this team. Making sure all of our heads are in the right places. We have that mental toughness we need to have, and it's when you find that in a point guard and a guy that can lead your team like that, it's something special. It's something that a lot of teams lack, and you're just grateful to have him on your side.
We'll take one more question for the players if there is one. Yep, here in row 3.
Greg Logan of Newsday for Troy. You had a point in the second half where you scored about 14 straight points, and all it did was cut the lead to 10. How frustrating was that at that point to feel like you must have been doing all you possibly could?
It's not really frustrating, Those points, it's just all that sparked the team. Since I've been here, I always try to find ways to impact the game, not only for me but for my teammates as well. If it's by a dunk, if it's by a rebound, if it's by a pass, I'll do it. I always put the team first, and if it has to be scoring, then it's going to be scoring.
Okay, we'll dismiss the players now. A reminder, the locker room is open at Indiana, as well as with UNC. So with Coach Crean, we'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions for him. So, Coach?
Well, first and foremost, I can't even begin to describe how proud I am of this group. These 3 and their teammates, with everything that they've accomplished this season and the things they've had to endure to get to this point, and then even the things in-house with the injuries and situations like that we've had to handle. And every team goes through different stages, and they either really bond together or they fracture apart. And all this team did throughout everything is bond together to where it was just incredible. And it certainly hasn't hit me yet that it just ended. And so I'll probably struggle with the questions of finality, but they've given everything to Indiana. Yogi is leaving here as one of the great winners, and it's really no way anybody's going to be able to take that away from him. He's won 2 outright championships in 4 years, and leaves obviously with the accolades. Was a part of 2 of our 3 Sweet 16s in the last 5 years. And what these guys have done has just been remarkable. And it's been an absolute honor to coach them. And can't put it into words any more than that. As far as the game, North Carolina played outstanding. And if they play like that, even remotely close to that, they'll be very, very hard to beat. And I hope they do, because Roy deserves it. And they shot the ball. First thing Roy said coming off the court is they shot the ball extremely well. Obviously, we didn't shoot it nearly as well as we're capable of. I was never down about where our offense was because we're missing shots we usually make. And we're missing shots that you can't have the success our team's had on both ends of the court without having that level of confidence that those shots are going to go. And they just didn't enough, and the first half really hurt us. There's no question about that. But we never really got the post-game under control. The threes hurt us, no question about that. But the post-ups, they destroyed us. We couldn't overcome that. And so when you've got a team like that that's got the depth, the consistency that they have, and then obviously we're playing without another starter in Rob tonight, which hurt our depth in the backcourt and hurt our depth defensively, certainly. It was just too much for us to overcome tonight. But these guys battled to the very end. And that's exactly what you want. And I feel awful for them because they gave everything. They gave everything to each other, and they were getting better up into this morning or this afternoon at the walkthrough. And when your team is getting better all the way throughout the year, and you can look at that and they know they're getting better, then we got a lot out of it. And that's why it's hard to see a season end. You know, it wasn't like we were running on fumes. We were injured, but we were improving constantly. But Carolina deserved the win, no doubt about that.
All right, we'll take questions for Coach at this point. Okay, in the aisle right there behind you. Yep. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Coach. Michael Lonko, AP Broadcast. You talk about in alluded to it, but the run you guys made just to get here with everything you've gone through. Just how special was this, and is that one of the things you'll take away when you think about this team?
Well, I think they're going to be so bonded. I mean, there's going to be very few things in their life outside of personal issues or tragedies and things like that with what they've had to overcome. I mean, it's been a bit crazy. And again, we're still talking about going in here yesterday. We're talking about stuff that happened in November and December. I mean, I don't know many teams that have to deal with that, but they've overcome all of that, and they've continued to get better constantly. And I think the way that they were able to look at adversity or people's version of it, shut that out, and absolutely focus in on what improvement is all about, what a level of commitment and connectedness is to one another. That's why we had the success that we had. And the program has done a fantastic job of overcoming those things. And these guys take a backseat to no one on that. So I'm proud of what they've done. And this loss will certainly become, it'll hit me, you know, a bit. And that film will hit me. But it's hit me every day that I've been fortunate to coach these guys.
Right down here in the second row at the end of the row.
You touched on this a little bit in your opening statement.
What's your name?
Adam Kilgore, the Washington Post.
Okay.
When Page and their guards are making shots like they were, how almost like unreasonable does the task become stopping them just because how big and strong they are?
Well, Marcus was making video game shots to start the game. I mean, seriously. I mean, he's a tremendous player. I mean, Roy, I'm sure, feels about him the way I feel about Yogi, and deservedly so. I mean, remember when they were both in the game as freshmen at Assembly Hall. But we never got him under control early with what we wanted to do on the wings, and he's a tremendous wing shooter. And what he did is he got hot, and he was able to make them from other places. And no question, I had to think about going against the doctor's orders for a minute to try to get Rob Johnson into the game, but that wasn't going to fly. But he did a great job, and he brought a lot of confidence to his teammates tonight. And when you got that with the level of what they've got inside, I mean, it's hard to deal with. Jackson was as scary to me going into the game as any of them, and because he's their Swiss Army knife, like Troy is for us, and he did a fantastic job in the first half. I mean, he's a high level player because he's in constant movement, and when a guy can move like that, can make plays, can make shots, that movement frees it up for other guys, and Marcus did a fantastic job throughout the game, and especially to start the game.
Do we have any more questions for Coach? Okay. Coach, you are excused.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone here at this arena and everything that they did. Welcome us in Philadelphia. Everybody here at this arena has been 100% first class. Thank you very much. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
I will have Carolina in just a few seconds here. All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach Williams, and then we'll open it up to questions for the players, and then we'll dismiss them and questions for Coach. So, Coach?
No complaining because we played very, very well, but the NCAA needs to buy a daggum new table. Without this daggum leg, it just broke my bad knee. All right. But other than that, it's a fantastic night. Bryce even laughs at me. That hurt. Would you quit? All right. I'm sitting up here with two guys that I've enjoyed immensely who played their tails off. Steve was mad this morning, told me about an article that said I couldn't coach three-point shooters, so I guess I still can't. But I know the little sucker over there tonight made 4 of them before the first TV timeout. For us, he gave us a great start. There's no question about that. It lifted everybody's spirits, gave everybody confidence. At halftime, it was like 11, I think. I don't think it ever got below double digits like that. But I was scared to death. I have so much confidence and respect for Indiana, the job that Coach Tom Crean's done, Yogi, those guys. I watched 4 games in the last 36 hours because we played so late. I had all kinds of time. But 4 games in the last 36 hours, I saw them play against Maryland, and I thought there was no way that anybody could beat the way they played against Maryland that day. But our kids played very well. Oh, and I left out one, got to Troy. Troy Williams, 21 points in the second half, was sensational for them. And he was not their best three-point shooter. In fact, of the starters, he's the guy that had the worst percentage, but he competed like crazy. So we feel very good about beating a really, really good Indiana team. Bryce, fantastic work, double-double again, and Marcus, 21 points, 6 assists, no turnovers. We're ecstatic to be here.
Questions for Bryce or Marcus? We'll start in the aisle. Go ahead, Michael.
When you guys are shooting that well, just how big did that basket look to you guys tonight, first half and second half?
Is that for me?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, we'll start with Marcus. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I felt good. As a shooter, when you get the first one to go down, it's always kind of a good thing for your confidence. And then I was able to get free a couple times right after that and get pretty good looks at the rim, which are hard to come by sometimes as a 6-foot guard. So that really helped me get going. And then I think other guys kind of fed off that. And we shot the ball a lot better than we usually or have been shooting the ball. So that always helps against a team that can really score.
Bryce?
He answered. He was the one making the shots. I didn't really hit a shot in the first half.
Bryce was 1 for 4 in the first half, so he didn't know how big the rim was.
I don't think I can answer that. I can't answer that question. Marcus did. He did a terrific job. So.
Okay, are we staying in the aisle? Do we have another one in the aisle? No. Okay. Second row, right here. Yep.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. Marcus, the ACC is guaranteed a team in the championship game, 4 teams through to the Elite 8. Does that surprise you with what you saw out of the league this year?
It definitely doesn't surprise me based on the quality of play in our league this year. It was fantastic. Top to bottom, we had some really competitive games. Even the teams that didn't do as well were competitive throughout the whole ACC season with the top teams. So it doesn't surprise me at all to see, UVA, Notre Dame, us advancing as far as we have. And it just shows that, we had the best conference this year. I know the Big 12 was really strong at the top, but I think with as deep as our league is, we had the best year.
All right, we'll go to the third row now with Adam. Okay, we'll come to the front row then.
Boy, I like that.
Brett Friedlander, Wilmington Star News. Bryce, how good was it to see Kennedy step up on a day that Isaiah really got in foul trouble and didn't do a lot, to have him do what he did tonight?
It's really big. I mean, just for his confidence. I mean, he has been getting down on himself just because he hasn't been playing a lot the last couple of games. But if you think about it, the last couple of games probably weren't good games for him to play in. Just thinking of matchups, you got people like Bento running around off screens. You have a lot of guys from Florida Gulf Coast, essentially a lot of guards running around. So, I mean, those aren't really games that we really want him out there just because they space the floor. And then just tonight we got guys like Thomas Bryant. He doesn't really go out there and shoot threes. I mean, that's a lot better matchup for him. And, I mean, he really showed that he's a really good player. I mean, he really showed up today.
We have in the aisle there.
Luke Notestein, WLOS in Asheville. Bryce and Marcus, to put up 101 points in a game like this, was this the most impressive offensive performance you guys have had as a team overall this year?
Start with Bryce.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely one of the most impressive just because of the way Marcus came out. He was really on fire there. I mean, at one point, the one where me and Joel kind of fumbled it down there on one end, and then he ended up getting a 3. I was like, wow. I mean, he's really feeling it right now. And then, I mean, hey, everybody was feeding off of that. So, I mean, that's the way we need to play every game because, I mean, we're a very good team. And I mean, if you want us to run, then that's the way we want to play anyways.
And Marcus?
Yeah, I think we knew there were coming in that there was going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Indiana's terrific offensively. We're pretty good offensively as well. The tempo was going to be higher than, the traditional college basketball game. So there's going to be a lot of points scored. But I think in terms of our balance, getting some outside to complement our inside game, that was one of our better performances because we've had a lot of great offensive games where we've just scored all our points in the paint. But this time we were able to get some balance, and I think that helped us.
Middle of fifth row, right here. Yep. Josh, just raise your hand real quick.
Josh Farrell on Sports Exchange. Bryce, you guys were in the bonus like 3 minutes 56 seconds into the second half. Had you ever had that happen so quickly in a game, and what kind of psychological advantage does that give you guys, knowing that every whistle you're going to the line?
I don't think we've ever had it where we're in the bonus that early, but I mean it does help us just because we want to be able to attack from the inside and then go out. And I mean the first half we really didn't get the ball inside. I mean our guards were hitting a lot of big time 3-pointers out there, and then the second half we kind of just they got a lot of fouls on post ups and just getting inside the way we really want to play the game. So I mean that really helps us in the long run.
We'll take one more question for the players if there is one. Go ahead, Mike.
Just you guys can talk about the excitement of being one game away from a Final Four.
Marcus?
Yeah, I mean it's extremely exciting. It's one of the things we talked about all year. As one of the goals that we've set. So to be one game away is extremely exciting, and to have to beat a great Indiana team to get there, it feels really good. And we're in a good place mentally right now. Use the short turnaround to recover physically, and then, it's for all the marbles. So Notre Dame's going to be ready to play. We split. They beat us earlier in the year, and we beat them in the tournament. So both teams should have some confidence and have some positive things to look at. But I know for the next however many hours it is, that's all that's going to be on my mind is how close we are to reaching one of the big-time goals that we set for this team.
And Bryce?
Hey, I'm one game away. That's all I got to say. One game away. We're not done. We just got to go out there and just play. Like Marcus just said, we split with them this year, and we just got to go out there and play. We're not expecting them to come out any particular way. We just got to go out there and play with the way we know how to play.
Okay. We'll dismiss the players at this time, and we'll take questions for Coach Williams. We'll start at the end of row 6. Yep, go ahead.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Roy, do you remember the first time that you watched Marcus play? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I saw him play in the, I can't remember what number court, but it was a Milk House, Orlando, Florida, Disney World, one of the upstairs courts in the Milk House. And I was extremely impressed. I'd had another game that was one of the assistants wanted me to watch, and it was postponed. And I'd heard about Marcus from J.P. Tokoto. And so I went up there to watch Marcus play and thought he was sensational. I think that was the summer before his summer before his junior year.
We'll go here in the third row with you, Adam.
Coach Adam Seguri, SMY. Just to follow on Nicole's question, 4 ACC teams in the Elite Eight, guaranteed to have one ACC team in the championship game. What does that say about the league, and does that surprise you at all?
Everyone has different opinions. All year long, people would say, some guys would say the ACC, some guys would say the Big 12, Pac-10. I felt all year long that our league was outstanding, and I think that there's different ways to evaluate it. The play at the end of the season is the way most people evaluate it, and I feel like our league is showing the kind of depth and the strength of the teams at the way they're playing right now. Have Syracuse, Notre Dame, Virginia, North Carolina, something we're very proud of.
We'll stay here in front, row 2, Adam.
Adam Kilgore, The Washington Post. Marcus has talked a little bit later in the year about sort of like having to relax and is trying to calm down a little bit. What, from your perspective, what has he sort of gone through and done this year to put himself in the place he's in now from like a mental aspect?
Well, he's a very thoughtful young man. He's not a typical jock, image, that kind of thing that everybody thinks. He's a really thoughtful young man, 3-time academic All-American, puts a lot of pressure on himself. He had high expectations this year for himself as an individual, and he had high expectations for our team. The ball didn't go in the basket for a long stretch in there, and it really bothered him. And yet I loved him because he didn't let that affect the rest of his play. When he was standing on the beach and couldn't throw it in the ocean, he was still winning the Defensive Player of the Award a lot. He was still making the other guys on the team better. He was still being one of the best leaders I've ever been around. So I'm thankful that the ball's going in for him a little bit now and give him a little relief. But he is so focused on how our team's doing. He's handling all the rest of that as well as anyone I've ever seen.
We got a couple in the back in the aisle. We'll start with Mike.
Coach, if I remember the other day, you mentioned about having to try to maximize your opportunities and limit theirs. You seem to have done that in the first half, especially. How essential was that in terms of the start you guys had, especially in that first half?
Well, I think, again, Marcus got us off to such a good start. And let's be honest, Notre Dame Indiana didn't shoot the ball nearly as well as they normally shoot it. And we were fortunate because I didn't think we played that well defensively in the first half. I think they just missed a lot of shots. And in the second half, we played a little better defense, and they made more shots. But there's no question that it gives you a good feeling. But the game of basketball can change so quickly. I told our guys at one of the timeouts the game's not over with. And one of the media questions early was about I was still coaching with 2 minutes to go. We just saw a couple last week, 12 points in 44 seconds. Caliber of the teams in the tournament, you got to keep playing and understand you got to play for 40 minutes. But it was very good for us to get off such a positive start, especially when I didn't think we were playing well defensively during that time.
We'll stay in the aisle. We got two back there, so.
Okay.
Luke DeCock, Raleigh News and Observer. Roy, you've said several times you feel like this is your least appreciated, most criticized, really good team. But the way that it's played in the postseason and some of the way the accolades you guys are starting to get now and the players talking about getting closer to playing up to your potential, do you feel differently about that since the Duke game maybe?
I think you're exactly right. Probably the last 2 to 3 weeks, I think things have changed. I felt like we were pretty doggone good before that. But I knew that we could get a heck of a lot better. At one point, I guess after the Virginia game, I think that's when was that our last loss? Okay, so we had lost 6 games, and we had lost those 6 games by a total of 22 points. So we were pretty doggone good. I don't think that was appreciated at that time. And I didn't get fired up as much as Steve did about the article this morning because I don't mind things. As long as my team's playing the way I like them, that's good. And I've been really appreciative of the team, the way they've competed. I think the way we bounced back and played at home against Syracuse on Senior Day was very important to me. The way we went over to Durham and played against Duke in the last regular season game was extremely important to me. And I think that from that time on, Luke, I think you're right. People are starting to realize that, hey, we're okay. We've got a chance to do some things, and we're playing pretty well.
We have another one in the aisle, and then we'll come to the front row. So, aisle, yep.
Coach Luke Notstein from WLOS in Asheville. To put up 101 points against a really good team in this type of a situation, what impressed you the most with your team on the offensive end tonight?
Well, you know, at Florida State, we scored over 100, I think, on the road in the ACC, and that's pretty impressive. I think it's only the 3rd or 4th time this year that we scored over 100. I've had some teams in the past that 9 or 10 times would score over 100. I was impressed by our team, the way I jumped on their tails at halftime, and then we responded and we started playing better. I have no idea how that Bryce and Theo can have a perfect lob pass on to them 25 feet away from everybody else and screw that up. But other than that, I thought we did some good things.
Down here in the front row.
Brett.
Roy, they made a little run in the second half and got it to within 10 several times. How important was it for it to not get into single digits and to keep that at least a 10-point advantage there?
You know, some people could say it was important, but I'm not going to be one of them. I never knew it got to 10, you know, because I'm just coaching. But some people think that single digits. Steve's the one that brought it up to me and said that they never got it inside single digits. But, you know, what they were doing, I mean, the crazy thing is, I mean, seriously, you think about it. We were up 20 because I looked at the clock. When that long pass was in the air, I looked at the clock, saw we were up 20. We screwed that up, and 7 seconds later they make a 3, so it's a 5-point swing in 7 seconds. And so I decided after that I didn't look at the clock again for the next 5 or 6 minutes. But some people can say it was important, but I never felt like our team was panicking. And there were so many possessions in the game. You know, there are going to be ebbs and flows of how you play. Things are going to go your way a little while, and then they're going to make a little run, and we're going to make a little run because they're very good also.
We'll do final 2 questions in the back row. Yep, okay. One right next to the other.
Jeremy Schneider, Star Ledger. Coach, how much fun are you having coaching this team right now? You know, winning a game like this that convincingly. And when's the last time you had this much fun? I've been told you have a soft spot for your '89 Kansas team.
Wow, '89 Kansas team. That was my first team. Yeah, that was a soft spot because those guys gave me a chance. I didn't have any record beside my name, and those kids believed in me. They had just won a national championship and gave us a chance. And at one point in the year, we had 8 guys dressing out because we got everybody hurt. But that was a special team. But your players are like your children. You can't say which child you like the most. You know, if I tell the child that I have, either if Scott's around and Kimmy's not, I tell Scott I like him better. If Kimberly's around, Scott's not, I tell her I like her better. But the bottom line is this team has been special because of all the stuff that they've handled during their 4 years and what Bryce and Joel and Marcus have accomplished. I mean, Steve was telling you guys something. Marcus passed Michael Jordan on the North Carolina scoring list. That's pretty neat. And he said, well, Coach, you only played 3 years. I said, shut up. And your names are going to be ahead of Michael Jordan's and something. Just take that and appreciate it. And Bryce tied the record of most double-doubles in anybody in North Carolina history with Billy Cunningham. And so the things that those kids have done, they've really been special to me because the times have been tough the last 2 or 3 years. I've never had my credibility questioned. I've never had things happen to me that's happened the last 3 years. And going on that court with those guys has really been neat. That's really been something special.
We'll stay in the back row for the final question.
Roy, in the course of recruiting, how much do you try to sell kids on the ACC and the history of the conference and the depth of it?
Some, but, you know, I sell North Carolina. I promote North Carolina. And then I say, yeah, we play in the best basketball conference there is. And I don't throw things out there like that. I sell North Carolina. I sell our team, what our university stands for. And I think that's what I should sell and promote. But I'm very proud of the ACC. Always have been and always will be. I'm an old-timer that grew up on ACC basketball. But I promote the University of North Carolina. That's my school. That's the school that I've loved since the fall of 1968, and it never will change.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you very much, Coach. Once again, just a reminder, Sunday's game will tip off at 8:49 p.m.